Hey, how's it going, everybody? I want to get my impressions on Mirror's Edge Catalyst, the closed beta that's been going on, and let you guys know what I think as a longtime die-hard fan of the original game that came out in 2008. So, let me just break down Catalyst with a few different points here. What do I think about the open world, the free roaming? I think it's fantastic. I absolutely love the city. I love the art direction of the city. During the first 2 days, since I pretty much avoided doing any of the story content and just did side content, I did familiarize myself with the first entry point of the open world, the first little area, quite significantly. And it wasn't until like the latter part of the second day of me constantly playing it, probably putting around 10 hours of it, to be honest, completely honest with you, is when I started to feel like a little bit bored of it, a little bit repetitive. Today, I actually went and I did the first story mission, and there's a video up for you guys if you guys want to see that, where I basically went through and played to that first story mission, and that unlocked the other half of the open world for me to explore. And this other portion, this other area of the open world is significantly bigger, and also is just allowing me to explore a lot more of the city more in depth than before. And so I really, really like the open world of the game, you know, and how it kind of breaks down. I can definitely imagine the excitement of when you're playing the game, you're playing the campaign, and as you're progressing more throughout the story, more of the world is being unlocked, and the excitement of actually going to those places, exploring the different cities and different areas of Glass is going to be pretty freaking cool. So I really, really like the open world. It wasn't until, again, I said after about 10 hours of playing with that little small area that you have in the beginning, that it wasn't until then that I started to get a little bit repetitive and tired of basically seeing the exact same building and doing the exact same jumps and being in the exact same area. But when I got to that other part of the open world, it was really exciting. So it's really going to handle down to the pacing of the game, whether or not the open world of this game can really be great. So I really hope that the pacing is well in the final game and it really works out tremendous. Moving on, I want to talk about the graphics really quick. I absolutely love it on the Frostbite engine and what the how the game looks in. Pretty much, it's just fantastic. Now I'm playing at 1440p 60 frames per second with every single thing maxed out on my PC, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. I have not actually seen the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 versions in person. From what I can tell, the resolution is pretty much the same as Battlefield's resolution, so expect sub-full HD resolutions there. But you guys do have 60 frames per second on those consoles. I like it a lot, how the game looks. I think it's beautiful. The lighting in particular really steals the show. Great shadows. This is a beta, so keep in mind that there are some issues with pop-ins so far and some texture streaming issues as well. So that stuff is just to be expected. Unfortunately, you're going to have to deal with those kind of things. But my frame rate's been solid. You know, I'm getting around 80 frames per second at 1440p. And so, I have a 4K 60 hertz display. And so I V-synced it to get rid of the screen tearing. And there's just no drops below 60. It's smooth. It's really responsive and handles really, really well. So I really like the open world of the game and the way it looks, and just really handles down to really beautiful graphics, especially with the enhanced Frostbite visuals, the really nice reflections, which are screen space effects, but they do a really good job, especially in motion. The game looks really good. And I'm actually surprised. I don't think the YouTube videos do it justice, but I actually am liking the motion blur implementation in the game. There seems to be, when they first showed us, I thought the motion blur was way too intense, but playing the full game, I have the motion blur turned on ultra, and I have no intention of turning it down. I think it's actually pretty nice, and it looks a lot better in person than it does on YouTube videos. With YouTube, everything's compressed, and so it kind of looks like crap after a while, but when you're actually playing it in motion, I do actually appreciate the motion blur and what it adds, and especially for this type of game where everything's fast-paced. Other than that, talk about the movement of the game. I love the parkour system. I think it's a lot smoother, and there's a lot more things you can do this time around. There are some times where I don't think the controls are as responsive as the first game. That may have something to do with the fact that I did enable VSync, and when you have a VSync locked game, you do get input lag. But there are times where I'll press the jump button and I'll coil, so I'll jump and coil, but she'll just slide instead of actually jumping, and it's like, I know damn well that I pressed the jump button before. So I never really had an issue like that in the first game, but maybe it's just a matter of me getting used to the controls. Since it is built on a brand new engine, you do have a different control feel to the game. But I do like how everything's grounded. I mean, the game kind of looks floaty when you're seeing it in motion and you're seeing other people play. It looks like it has a floaty control system, but it's very much grounded, you know, with physics, and you actually do get this sense of, hey, I'm a real person. You know, my feet are touching the ground and stuff like that. You do get that sense. It's not like Dying Light where, you know, everything's kind of floaty and you can control where you're going. It's not like that at all. It's very much a refinement and improvement based off the first game, and that's what I really liked. So I really appreciated the movement. Everything's perfectly smooth. Really well done. I like the new animations and everything, and I just love the parkour system, and really getting used to how it works, and I can't wait to play the full game to where we have more gadgets that really do make it a better experience overall. Combat I like, and I know I've heard some people have mixed feelings on the combat. A lot of people seem to say it looks like crap. It looks weird, especially when you're watching a video. It does look weird, but when you're actually playing it, the combat is really nice. It's responsive, and you can do a lot of stuff. It really just boils down to knowing how to play the game, and I find a lot of people on YouTube don't know how to play the game. They'll go and they'll do the same repetitive move every single time. They'll get their ass kicked. They'll you know, they'll control Faith, and they'll look like a complete retard doing it. You know, they don't exactly know how to basically control the game. I find a lot of people having issues with the controls and stuff like that. It really it's a matter of you getting into the flow of things. Once you're into the flow of things, once you have an understanding of how the combat works, it's really well. I was able to take down tons of guards. I just actually finished a stream, and I intentionally had Kruger Sec sending in, you know, VTOLs with tons of guys, and I took down like literally 10 squads of like 5 or 6 different people with guns and melee batons and stuff. I took them out like relatively easily. It's not that difficult if you know what you're doing. It's just a matter of you familiarizing with the controls, understanding Faith's moveset, and getting the job done. It's really not that hard. Other than that, I'll talk quickly on the multiplayer aspect. Now this is confirmed. It's not an always online game, so I'm really happy to hear that. It's not an always online game, but the multiplayer is integrated into the campaign system. So basically, the multiplayer is essentially you being able to see where your friends are on the in-game map. When you hack a billboard, it will show up in your friend's game world, and they can actually hack it again and claim that billboard, or, you know, so on and so forth. You can also create custom time trials, which I haven't done yet, and then have your friends play them, and you can also, you know, have a leaderboard with your friends participating in different time trials and stuff like that. So it's nice. I wish that we were able to at least like choose like a set of friends that you can see their actual run or echo. That would be cool to actually run around with them in the City of Glass, but unfortunately you can't do that. You know, it's not like that. So, but it's still pretty cool. I like the game. I like the multiplayer for what it is. I just hope that if this game is successful and we get a sequel, that we do get a more substantial multiplayer with actual, you know, open world exploration with our friends, and some competitive and cooperative game modes. That would be freaking cool. So, but for what it is, I think it's fine, and it works out well, doing what it does. So overall, my feelings on Mirror's Edge Catalyst are pretty positive. I'm really looking forward to the game. I think the game controls really well. I have nothing really to worry about in terms of the game. I just hope that they iron out the bugs that are present in the beta. The only thing that's distracting that I found, there are two things actually. One was flickering textures on not only, you know, people, but also objects and shadows. Just flickering, a lot of flickering going on. So it's something that I can just fix. Number two is whenever I seem to do a side mission, and let's say I'm doing a courier mission where I have to transport one object to another station or whatever, if I die or if something happens, if I don't make it or whatever, when you respawn, it doesn't show the marker of where you're supposed to go, at least for me. I have runner's vision turned off, so that may have something to do with it, but it does not show the objective marker of where you're supposed to go. And it can be quite frustrating because you have to abort the mission and then go back to it to restart the whole mission entirely, and then only then the marker will show up and you'll actually know where to go. So that's one thing I hope that they iron out. In addition, I've seen some people as well as some cars drive into buildings and into each other and just, materialize into nothing. So that's all stuff that they have to iron out. Hopefully that the game is really, well done and it's perfect and there's no issues and things like that. But other than that, I love it. I think it's perfect. I really do. This is the game. This is the game we've been waiting 7.5 years for. It does the first game justice, and I can't wait to explore more of the world. The story so far is interesting. You got some great emotional dialogue in there, good voice acting, really good voice acting, and everything's very cinematic. So I'm really appreciating that. Love the graphics. A+ in pretty much all categories. All right. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Please let me know what you guys think of the beta, and I'll have more content for you guys on the beta in the next couple of days until the beta ends. So have a good one, guys, and thank you so much for watching.